Small and medium enterprises are at greater risk of needing assistance as uncertainty around the COVID-19 pandemic continues. Analysts expect more businesses to come under heavy distress during this time. Well, to better understand the impact on the SME sector and the usefulness of business rescue, we're joined via Skype by Tumelo Tsotetsi. He's a qualified chartered accountant and the current chairperson at the Institute of Business Advisors in Southern Africa. Thank you so much for joining us, Tumelo. So it's not surprising that SMEs will need business rescue, but at what type of scale can we expect post this corona crisis?
Good afternoon. Thank you for the question. Indeed, it is expected that many SMEs will be required to undergo a business rescue process. And remember, just in short, the business rescue process is an alternative to liquidation. It is a better alternative to add to that, whereby the companies in financial distress will seek to salvage the businesses so that they can return to profitability. And we know that at the scale we are going now, there's been surveys and indications that at least 50% of small and medium-sized businesses will not be sustainable beyond the COVID-19. And even a larger number of businesses are filing for what we call relief in terms of being able to proceed with running their businesses. Yeah. So the numbers are huge. Yeah. They're unbelievable.
Some analysts, Tumelo, let me interject there. Some analysts don't believe in business rescue for SMEs. They say by the time an SME decides to go down that route, it's probably too late. Is that accurate or not?
It is very much true, Nampo, because when you look at SMEs in terms of their definition in South Africa, we're looking at companies that are mostly owner-managed. So they cannot even afford to have a board structure to assist with the expertise to help to run their businesses. So an owner-managed business, they will take out whatever sources from whatever sources of income, even their own personal finances and resources to help their own businesses to survive, through difficult times like this. So by the time you even consider going to business rescue, it is true that many of our companies would have gone under and they would need more than just a business rescue process to survive.
So before small businesses begin to contemplate going down that route, and given the circumstances that we're faced with right now, where companies are not getting revenue and they still have overhead costs that they must still meet, they haven't been so successful in tapping into the various offerings that have been made by this one and that one. What's your advice to them about how they should proceed right now?
All right, so the most obvious and elementary approach is to cut down on the costs and expenses where a business is able to do that. And the second one is to negotiate with your creditors terms that are favorable and even reasonable in terms of how you're going to be able to honor some of the debts that will become due at this stage. Maybe those can be deferred to a later stage after COVID-19, which we don't know how long that is going to be, but you have to approach the creditors because everyone is being impacted by COVID-19. It's not only your small, medium-sized businesses, but large corporates. So the landlords are a very key stakeholder to engage in the process. And as you do that, you look at exhausting or rather tapping into other resources. I mean, the government relief schemes, there's plenty of them, and many I know are trying to access these relief schemes to be able to survive. And even the banking sector, we are aware that they're also lending a helping hand. And there's so many avenues, of bigger business and government that are trying to come to the rescue of small businesses. Because we know the economy like South Africa depends largely on small businesses. in terms of job creation going forward. No.
Yes, of course. Well, we know that job losses have already occurred, and some people may only find out when it's time to go back to work as to whether they still have a job or not. But what kind of out-of-the-box thinking has there been amongst your peers about the way forward to help SMEs? And what about online type of entrepreneurial activity? Is that something that needs to be considered, shifting from bricks and mortar, which is a bit more expensive, and perhaps operating more on an online basis?
Yes, most definitely. So we've had a few webinars as Institute of Business Advisors in South Africa that we offer to our business advisors who are members throughout the country. And we also invite small business enterprise owners to also join us at these webinars that we run on a monthly basis. And that's where we advise businesses to go the route of online. I mean, we know fourth IR is upon us, and now there's 5G that we can tap into in terms of fast-tracking the online type of business venture. So we're encouraging more and more businesses to go that route. But even ourselves as IBASA, we are putting together some processes in place where we can offer what we call business mentorship to small businesses, because we know it's not just about funding for what it will take for these businesses to survive in the longer term. So you need someone who's an experienced mentor to guide you through the process of how to utilize the little that you have through this time, and even beyond COVID-19, to make the best of the resources that are available at your disposal.
Indeed. Tumelo, thank you very much for your time. That was Tumelo Tsotetsi. He's a qualified chartered accountant, and he's the current chairperson at the Institute of Business Advisors in Southern Africa. And you heard him there that if you do need advice and you need to access on some other information, you can go to their website to find out more about how they can assist you to deal with the future.